Welcome to Toronto. Alright, so I am in Toronto. I arrived here 2 days ago. I was in a different hotel, and it's just so busy here that I couldn't stay in one hotel the whole time. So I moved into this hotel today. I'm here for 7 days. And I thought it would be fun to just walk you through what's in my bag for this trip. But seeing this lighting, we're going to need to move positions. I brought my Brevity backpack. I love this backpack. It's really lightweight. I kind of reviewed it, not really reviewed it, but like I've mentioned it in another video, and it has turned out to be the continuous bag that I bring with me on all my travels. Fits all my gear, and I am quite happy with it. Ooh, I did bring a light. Let's see. If I were doing this in a way that didn't have a couple of drinks in me and actually was trying, I would grab this like Jobo, that's the film developing tank. Joby Gorilla tripod, this one. And I carry this just because it's very versatile. I do not like traveling with a full-size tripod. It is just too much to carry. And so I could just screw this right on here. We're gonna get a little fill light now, just so you don't bleed out of your eyes. Okay. I mean, it's not cute either. This one does not currently have anything in it, but these are little Optech pouches that I use for my lenses to separate them in my bag, and I don't have to really worry about them. They are fantastic. I have a few of these that I always travel with. This did have something in it. It's on this camera now. It's a wide angle lens, sort of, not adapter, but attachment just to like widen my Sony ZV-1, which is the camera I'm shooting this on. It is small and portable, and the reason I brought it was I just did not want to be carrying a bunch of stuff. I'm here for work. I just want the minimal kit that I can possibly bring. That being said, I didn't bring a small stills camera. I did bring with me the Nikon DF. This camera, I think this was from 2016. I can't actually remember. But this camera came out a while ago. It is a true DSLR. This is the most rogue kind of approach to filming here, but I'm loving it. This is a very sort of contentious camera. People love it, people hate it. I had a viewer out there who reached out to me and said they were going to sell it. Was I interested? And I was like, yes, because I've actually always wanted to try this camera, and I'm so happy I did. I have really been enjoying it so far. And I thought two reasons I brought it, not because it's not small, but because I am going to be joining the KEH Darkroom Beers and Cameras meetup in Atlanta, which is obviously very film-based. And so I wanted to bring something that gave me kind of a filmic experience. This is very close to a film experience, being a digital body. And the other reason was just because the new Nikon D whatever is called, the new Nikon update to this in mirrorless just was announced. And so I just was like, oh, I think the timing is right for me to start testing this out for real, because I really haven't shot it pretty much at all. So I'm excited to do that this trip. And I have started shooting this around the city, just like when I'm walking to a meeting or whatever. And yeah, so I will save my thoughts on that, but that came with me. Oh, I just always have like random soft things. Lots of extra batteries for the ZV-1 because that thing chomps on batteries like a child. And then for my Nikon, I brought this absolutely ridiculous, large, heavy lens. This lens is an older lens. This is the 28-70, so not the 24-70. Much cheaper, but it is a constant 2.8 lens, and it is really quite lovely. I have definitely been enjoying this, and yeah, so I just decided, why not just go crazy and bring a ridiculous kit for this. I also brought the 50mm 1.4 and my 28mm 2.8 in here. It's so funny, I've just never been a Nikon person until very recently, and now I'm like Getting a lot more Nikon into my collection. Then I also brought these filters. These were my father's filters. I found them when I went to sort of pack up his house back in Tahiti. And he had a number of different ones. This one is a warming filter, a B52. No, 81A B52. 81A. Good band, though. We have a red filter in here, a Tiffin red filter. And this one's an ND filter that I wanted to bring just to play with shooting a little more wide open in daylight. And this is actually a lens that, or a filter that I had already. This is a Hollywood Black Pro Mist filter. Not the Hollywood one. I actually have the Hollywood on here right now. This is the Hollywood Black Magic 1/8 filter, which is really nice. I like this lens or filter a lot. And then this is just a standard Black Pro Mist 1/4. And yeah, just playing with those, having fun. Then I just have my very petite chargers that I use for my batteries. That's the ZV-1 battery. Then I have just like a phone mount kind of thing. I don't know if I would ever need this, but I have it just in case if I'm like out and want to put my phone on top of my camera for POV or whatever. More batteries, 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 lots of batteries. Then I have this. If you can guess it in the comments now. You have 2 seconds. This is a distance finder. So the way this works is I'll need to show you on the camera. In here, in my little, this is my purse / everything. And I bring everything in this. This is my day bag. In here I have a film camera with a Kyocera carrying case from a really great old Kyocera Digicam. This is my Minox 35EL. This is such an awesome camera. I adore it. I did buy it from KEH, so it's appropriate that I'm bringing it to a KEH event. And you can see how small it is. It is so tiny and super, super sweet. Like great lens, fixed 35mm 2.8. And what I do with this, because what you'll, well, you probably won't see this. What you'll see on the lens barrel there is a distance meter and then a aperture. So you set the aperture on here. This is why the GorillaPod is actually great because you can fold the legs up. So here you have your aperture. This is where you control your aperture. And then here you control your distance to your subject. Now, there's no like rangefinder patch in here. There's no way to see what you're actually going to be focusing on because there's no connection between the EVF and the lens. So you have this, and what I do with this one is I put it right in here like this. It looks so goofy, but I kind of like it because who doesn't want to be a weirdo? And then you look through the eyepiece here, and in here is a rangefinder patch, and I can measure this. And if I'm looking at the front of the lens, well, I'm too close, but if I'm looking at the front of the lens, now I can see that I'm about 2.9 feet from the lens, and I can dial that into my distance on the front of this bad boy, and my Minox is ready to shoot. Just a super delightful little pocket camera that I like to bring with me everywhere. Really badly carried Canadian cash. Earpods. Always, always, always a backup battery charger because I don't even use these for my cameras. My phone dies every day because I'm on it so much. And then gotta have your very nourishing lip balm. And then I have this one. I talked about this in my Fuji XE1 video. It's hard to keep track of all these cameras. In my XE1 video, I talked about this. This is just a brilliant little SD card reader that you plug right into your phone, and I just download my images that way. And I try really, I am trying more and more to shoot just JPEG and simplify my life and save my time, and it's been really, really fun. And, you know, some good old elastics. So, to go with my Minox EL, this fantastic, adorable little flash, which I also love. It just fits right into the hot shoe. I do obviously take off my distance meter when I'm using this, but it's just so nice to have. Flip that into your bag. Takes no room. This is for my GoPro. This is just like a chest mount. if I ever want to walk around. I do carry my GoPro 10 everywhere just because it's small and easy, and I am all for small and easy. This is the very famous, I think, I don't know, for me, Lumix 20mm 1.7 pancake lens. I just love this lens. It's an old lens. It's got a slow autofocus motor, but it's beautiful. I really, really like the character of this lens. I have bought and sold it many times now, and this time it's staying for good. And the camera that I pair with this, a newly acquired Olympus EM10. So this EM10 right now has a 14mm 2.5, 2.5. 14mm 2.5 lens on it. This is just, sorry guys, this is just shit production value, but whatever. 14mm 2.5 lens on it, which gives you a 28mm field of view equivalent. Really fun, really small. I mean, just look at how small this whole package is. I love it. It does have a flippy screen, but it doesn't flip all the way up. This is not a good, like, film yourself kind of camera. It's also not really video spec'd to date, so wouldn't recommend it for that. But for stills, it's wonderful, small, cheap. I got it for like $130, and I do have the grip that came with it, which is, I actually quite like it. It just gives a little bit more of a substantial hold to it, and it comes off in this really fun fashion where like enough comes off to take the battery out. I really do need to get this light around here somehow. This just pops off really nicely, and the base is still attached, so all I do, like if I want to change the battery or something, is just pop that off and then pop this back on. It's back on. You don't have to do a bunch of screwing. I really, really like the design of that. That's pretty nice. And so I brought the 14mm and the 20mm, which gives me 28mm field of view and a 40mm field of view. But when I was here, I was like, I really want a zoom lens for this, particularly just in the coming days. I'll be shooting and on set, and just want something that, like, I just will have no time. So I want something that's really flexible and responsive. So I met up with a guy on Facebook today and just bought a new lens, which I had here like 1 second ago. It was in my fanny pack because I just bought it from him like an hour ago. So I bought the Panasonic 12 to 35mm 2.8. I have had this lens in the past as well. It's an excellent lens. I typically don't like to mix my Panasonic lenses with my Olympus bodies or vice versa, but beggars can't be choosers, and I'm in Toronto and this is what I could find. And so that's what we're doing. So this is going to be a field of view equivalent of 24 to 70, a nice little range, and I'm quite happy with this little tiny setup. I like it. We have chargers. This is for my Olympus. Just my bag of like every electronic goodie that I could ever need. USB charging cords, my Apple Watch charging cord, a brick for, you know, plugging into the wall with a USB adapter, headphone adapter, everything, SD card. And then I also always bring this little dongle. It just gives me extra plugs and charging ports. Like, I always need this. This is the joy of film, not needing this shit. There are smaller options than this. This just happens to be, I needed a bit more length for a different trip. But anyway, of course, a few solid state drives for editing or storing photos, and my DF charger with backup batteries, a couple of extra anchors in case, you know, for whatever reason, mine break. More film. I have some HP5 in here and some Fuji 200. And then last but not least, by any means, because I love it so much and it's so adorable, is this. I showed this on my Instagram stories at one point. My mom had this camera when I was a child. I always coveted that damn camera so much. Before I even cared about cameras, I wanted this camera. It is so cute. This is the Rollei 110A. It's a 110 camera, as you can tell from the name. And I really, really wanted this camera. My mom thought she had lost it. We found it recently in a storage bin in my garage. I was so excited. And then when I went to shoot it or try to shoot it, I realized it was completely effed up. The focus here was completely jammed, and there was no coming back from the dead, at least as far as my skills are able to manage. So I bought this as well from KEH. This is not an advertisement for KEH. They're not even bringing me to the event or anything like that. I just happened to shop from them a lot. So I bought this camera from them because I really wanted to have a functioning version of this camera that my mother had as a child, or as when I was a child. And so this is also coming with me, and as a result, oh shoot, I just took a picture. The way this works is you just advance like this. It won't advance past the point that you advance. You really only need to do it once. I do it twice just to be safe. And then you just hit the shutter. It meters everything. Everything is automatic. You focus right here with this little lever here. And it's as simple as that. It's a true point and shoot. And I love it. That's also why I have these extra rolls of 110 film. I'm right now shooting Lomo 92 in here. I'm excited to see how that turns out. I think that's it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, this is not normally how I'd pack for a trip. It's different these days because now I pack for a trip with like, okay, here, what's a camera I haven't shot for the channel that I would like to test out and review? So that was my Nikon DF. And then what is just like small that I can carry around with me every day. This is also a 2-part trip for me because I'm starting here in Toronto for work and then I'm going to Atlanta for pleasure. When I'm working or when I have kids with me, it has got to be small. So things like this are great. My Minox is great, but even these become challenging for me because if I have to actually physically focus the lens, if I have my kids with me, it's not going to happen. I need autofocus. So that's when cameras like the EM10 become invaluable to me. And little cameras like this, I can't even tell you. I will do a video on this where it's just my small camera collection because I'm obsessed with small cameras and I have a lot of them. And it is a result of being a mom. And just obviously also just liking to travel light. And then for this trip in particular, just like having a few film cameras for, fun times in Atlanta. And yeah, so that basically is it. And then of course I have to have a video camera, but I just decided to go like low end. I mean, it's still a great camera, but it's not like my cinema camera, if you will. So yeah, I just wanted something really small and I wasn't even sure if I would record anything on this trip. So I just kept it really, really lowest footprint or smallest footprint as possible. And then I have 2 computers because I have to have my personal computer and my work computer. And I only travel with carry-on. I refuse to check luggage because I just don't want to wait around at the airport and risk getting things lost or whatever. So yeah, I managed to get all of this into my backpack, and then in my roller is my laptop, well, my work laptop in there, my personal laptop in here, and then just clothes and 1 set of shoes. And I try to kind of go with a relatively low-key uniform when I'm working, just to simplify my wardrobe and keep my footprint small and tidy. So that's what's in my bag. But every trip requires a different thing. Like if I'm going to Tahiti to visit my dad, I'm going to bring a very different getup because I want weatherproofing or weather sealing because it's a very wet climate. I'm still going to probably be thinking more about portraits then, and I want to really photograph him and his environment. So last time I went there, I brought my Pentax 645Z, which I no longer have. I sold that camera, but it's a medium format digital camera. I kept the 645D, the original CCD censored medium format camera that they first came out with, and I love that camera. For better or worse, it's not a reasonable love. It's not a great camera. I just love it. I love shooting it. I feel very connected to it. It will never leave me. But I did sell the Z. So that makes sense for that kind of a trip. But if I'm going to Atlanta, for example, I'm going to bring something that is unwieldy and not reasonable because I have the time, I have no one to answer to, and I can just walk around and manage my own weight and evaluate, like, when do I want to bring this? When do I want to just slap on a prime and be a little bit more lightweight? And yeah, so camera decisions are very contingent on the circumstance of the trip or where I'm going or what I'm doing. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because any camera will do. I would rather not just be shooting on my iPhone, but if I was stuck with it, I would make it work. I actually did do a trip to New Mexico and went to like a couple of my very favorite places in the world where I just shot iPhone photos. I went to Ghost Ranch, which is also where I will retire one day, and just shot with my iPhone and some moment lenses, and it was extraordinary. So like everything works, no bad cameras, but fun cameras every time. So that's all I got. Hope you enjoyed that. It was very random, and this is all a rogue situation. I'm gonna go eat these ridiculous chocolate-covered strawberries they left me. By the way, this place is insane. Like I do not normally stay in places like this. When I'm working, I get to stay in places like this, but I'm gonna go enjoy those now. Bye.